All right, all right, all right. It is 7 o'clock. How in the world wide are you? It is Thursday coming up to the weekend. Hope you're excited about that. Always, I want to just say thank you for whoever's watching and whoever may watch this video later on. I hope it does something phenomenal to you. All right, so get ready to start my time. We're going to talk about something a little bit different today. And you may always wonder, man, what is this guy going to talk about? There's different subjects that come to me that are noteworthy. And today we're going to talk about birth control. Yeah, birth control. Birth control is one of those things where it allows you to have sex, and we're going to say the S word nobody want to talk about, but that's how every one of us got here. Birth control is something that allows you to have sex with the protection of not getting a responsibility. So you get to have the fun, and you have something that keeps the actual birth from taking place. Now, birth control comes in many different fashions. Some you don't do every day. Some you do from a year standpoint, however it goes. But with birth control, it allows a birth to keep from happening. How does that relate to me? I'm a man. I don't use birth control. It relates to every single one of us, because what happens with birth control is we're all practicing using it every day. And what it does is it allows us to not be that power. Like my pastor said, it allows us to not unleash the power, and to be that positive person, to never get discouraged, to never quit, to never feed from the food of the naysayer. It allows us to be that phenomenal person we were all meant to be. So what are some of the examples of birth control we take part in every single day? The first one is pity. When we are that type of person, we want everybody to feel sorry for us because of what's happening to us, or because of what we've been through. Pity is a killer, and pity will keep your dreams from being birthed into what you're supposed to have in life, where you're supposed to be, who you are supposed to be. Solution to that is you have to realize people will do more for you when you don't focus on your own self-pity, but you show yourself as a credible and strong person. There are people, you know it from example, you may not want to admit it or not, I hope it's not you, but when you see a person who's built on wanting pity all of the time, when you see them coming, you tend to go the other way. Why? Because you don't have time for that. You may be having a bad day. It may be your time where you want to vent, where you want that shoulder to cry on. But because they're so filled with pity all of the time, they won't take the time to try to console you or to encourage you, because they always want it for themselves. And that is a sign of birth control, because again, that pity is keeping them from realizing, you know what, life isn't that bad. And if there are bad moments, I still have the control over my own life, where I can still do something with it. I can still go. That leads me to going and not stopping. Too many times we get to a place where we start and we stop, start and we stop. Understand this. If your car gets to where it starts and it stops, you realize there's a problem somewhere. And at any point in time, it can put you down, and it can be somewhere you do not want to be. So you take some type of action to get it fixed, because you don't want it to put you down in an inopportune place. Your dreams in life, your power in life, your positive mentality in life is the same way. You got to stop starting and stopping stuff in life, because you got to get to a place where you're willing to do whatever it takes to get what it is you want in life. Many times we say it, but we don't really mean it, because we're giving up way too easy. We're stopping just because there's some difficulties that come with it. And I've been that stop and stop person before. I'm not going to tell you I'm perfect, and that hasn't been me, but I have a different mentality now. I see life totally different now. And I know if I'm going to just start and stop, I will never get to where I claim I want to be. There's the disclaimer. Where is it you're claiming to be in life? Who is it you're claiming to be in life? What type of power are you claiming to have in life? But you're starting and stopping, starting and stopping, starting and stopping, starting and stopping. It's going to take you much longer to get there, if you get there at all. So you got to get that mentality to say, you know what? I'm in it to win it. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to be whoever I'm supposed to be. That's an opportunity for you. That's your personal choice to do that. And me saying this, honestly, it doesn't cause you to have that uprising. I can say this to encourage you, but until you get it deep enough to say, you know what, this is my moment, this is my time in life, this is what I'm going to do, you'll still be stuck starting and stopping, and you would not birth anything out of you that is worthwhile. You can birth something, but it's going to be worthwhile, or it's going to be stillborn. Nobody wants to birth a stillborn child. That's a lot of pain to experience. And what's happening when you're starting and stopping, you are birthing something, and it's going to be stillborn. Now you got to start all the way back over again. You got to go through that whole month, the 9-month process. And in your life, a baby may stay in the womb for 9 months. And what you have to understand, 9 calendar months doesn't mean it's going to be the time for your breakthrough. to really get to be that ultimate person. It may take longer than 9 months, and your 9 months may not be 9 calendar months at all, because you may get to that place. Say, you know what? My mama just said, I see that. Thank you, mama. I'm in it to win it. You got to have that time to say, I'm in it to win it. And so you don't look at a physical calendar when you talk about a birth standpoint. What's another birth control we take? Blame. It's somebody else's fault. They're the reason why I'm not doing anything. Some people say, and I don't use the word stupid a lot, some people say the most stupidest thing in the world: they won't let me be great. Oh my God, when I hear that, I almost want to cringe and just choke somebody, because nobody has that much control over you to where you don't want to be great. You're blaming somebody else because of your lack of motivation, because of your laziness. You're making an excuse, which is something else we take as a birth control, an excuse to not be that person because we don't want the responsibility. I always love Spider-Man, and Spider-Man is a fictitious character, but his Uncle Ben said, with great power comes great responsibility. Your life is the same way. When you truly desire to be that phenomenal person, there's some responsibilities that's going to have to come with that. There's some opportunities that you're going to have to prove to yourself what you're made out of. You don't have to prove it to the world, but you got to tell yourself, you know what? I'm standing on this thing. I'm in it to win it. I am built on it. And you just got to say, you know what? I'm not blaming anybody else. I'm not making excuses. This is my life. I command what happens in my life. I take control of what happens in my life. And if it's going to be good, if it's going to be big, I'm the person to make it happen. It has nothing to do with anything outside of anybody. Because what happened is we tend to take the external forces and the external factors and think they're the reason why we're not progressing in life. That's a lie. That's not it. It's because we're blaming others, we're making these excuses, which leads to something else. What's another form of birth control we take every single day? Regret. Understand this. If you did it, you can't change it. If you did not do it, you can't go back and redo it. What you can do at this point is say, you know what? This is where I do everything in life differently. This is where, first off, I think differently. Because if you still have an old mentality, but you're saying you have new motives, you're lying to yourself. So stop holding on to regret. And I'm not saying it to beat you down, because I want you to be encouraged to know it does not matter what you did and did not do. There's stuff you're holding on to nobody even knows about. There's stuff you've done that if it came out, it would destroy you, but it hasn't. But understand this, there's a reason it hasn't come out. It's not for everybody to chastise you for what you did. But at the same time, you can't keep castrating your own self. You're cutting off your own tool to be the person you want to be. Stop holding on to regret. It gets you nowhere. Nowhere at all. All right. Another way we take birth control every day, holding on to a lie about ourselves instead of being truthful. It is very difficult to take a hard look in the mirror. But if you really want to change your life, if you really want to transform, you got to look in the mirror and say, you know what? I've got to change this about myself. Yeah, I do have a little bit of an attitude. Yeah, I do get lazy at times. Yeah, I'm a little bit complacent. Yeah, I do lack drive. And what you have to do is take those one by one and figure out how to fix them. See, when you decide to sit down to eat a meal, you don't get 4 or 5 spoons and dig and put them all on your plate at one time. You methodically see what you want to get off a buffet in the kitchen, and you get them one by one. And the lies about yourself that you're not confronting, you got to confront them one by one. You can't tackle your own self all at one time. Okay, if you like football, sometimes there's a running back who's so powerful, the one linebacker cannot bring him down. It takes more than that. So in your life, it's going to take more than just one day of looking in yourself, telling yourself how great you are. It's going to take more than one day to look in the mirror and say how much you love yourself. It's going to take more than one day to look in the mirror and say, you know what? This is something I know I need to change. I cannot remain the same person. And my 8 minutes is up, but I got a couple more points I need to make because I can't come back tomorrow, so I got to go on and finish this today. Another form of birth control we take every day is selfishness. See, we think if I do this just for me and only for me, it's going to get me where I want to be in life. And sometimes selfishness is feeling as if your life is not what you want it to be, so you won't say anything kind to somebody else. You won't help somebody else live the purpose they have in life. Do you realize when you help enough people get to where they want to go, you're going to get the same thing in return? It's no different than going to the bank, putting in $50 but saying you want $500. It's not there. But when you take the time to sow kindness in other people, to sow seeds of encouragement, seeds of opportunity. That means sometimes there are opportunities you could take, you're going to have to say no to because you're going to give them to somebody else. Not many people will say that because we want to be all about me. We want it for myself. But no, sometimes you got to step aside to know and say, hey, I think this person is the one for this. Let me move out of the way. And if you keep moving out of the way, you think you're pushing yourself further back in line. What you're doing, you're pushing yourself further. So when you do go forward, you spring forward like a rocket. And when you go forward, you don't just go forward, you go far. So just a couple of another factors. One more, and I'm going to be done because, again, I know I'm over my 8 minutes, but I can't come back tomorrow. Another form of birth control we harbor every single day is worry. Don't do it to yourself. Name something in your life, worry has changed, and I will give you my next paycheck. I'll give you the key to the car I drive. I'll give you the keys to the house my wife and I live in, because worry does nothing but sets you back. It doesn't make you feel better. It's like drinking a lot the night, then you got a hangover the next day. Worry is about like drinking too much because you feel the effects for the next day. Sometimes you feel the effects for a lifetime because you may do something you will regret. Think about that. So to sum it up, birth control is something that we take every day to prevent responsibility. Stop taking all these forms of birth control. Stop worrying. Stop being selfish. Stop not looking at yourself, one, and not being truthful with yourself. Two, not telling yourself how much of an ultimate person you are. If nobody else does it, you're obligated to do it for yourself. I don't look for anybody to tell me anything positive about me when I have the authority to do it myself. So you got to get to that same way. Stop holding on to regret. Stop making excuses. Stop blaming. Stop starting and stopping. And stop wallowing in pity. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We'll see you all next week. I can't hardly talk anymore. And as I always say, make today your glory, or tomorrow it will be somebody else's story. You all go and have a phenomenal day.